Alright, so this is my brake buddy system that I was having problems with. I turned the sensitivity down real low. Well, I tried to get on the interstate the other day when we was dealing with Rady's issue, and it just kind of locked the brakes down on me. I couldn't get above 30, and it's like, I'm going to heat the transmission up. We're going to have to get us a temperature sensor, but I'm going to derate this thing. I'm going to take away its self-governing status. It has a sensor in there that picks up when you brake and applies it. I think that's gone out on this, and I'm gonna hook it up like a trailer brake. I want the e-brake system will work on it, so if it disconnects, it automatically goes out for an e-brake. But the other thing I want on it is whenever I apply the brake, I want this to apply. And since I already had the line coming from the truck up there, it's just riding up underneath it. I already have the line under the truck. It'd be very easy to just wire this in like a trailer brake, and as the term goes, neutering the other system, so we know it's not burning up our brakes or burning up the transmission or whatever else was burning up. So it has a couple torques in here that can come out. You gotta pull this thing off here. This is it's a really simple device, actually. I mean, for what it is, other than the electronics of it. But as far as this, it has an air pump, which pumps into this. This wire is a little pressure switch in here. When it hits up the desired pressure and it shuts off, the pressure switch goes to a relay and switch in here, and some of these other stuff that regulates the pressure. But it has a set pressure it stays at. It goes into this valve here, which you can adjust how much valve. It also has a filter in it and a little water drain on the bottom of it that whenever you open it, it lets out, and it has a little bypass that lets air off. It has a pressure gauge, and it has a solenoid in here that controls whether it's in or out based on the air thing, and then on the top of it, it's all the electronics we're going to change. Alright, here is the other side of the circuit board. We got it out. This controls which area is pushing. I think it just lets the other side go out. So this electronics are very easily to understand. I'm going to analyze it and see if I can bypass all that circuitry and just make it where it's trailer activated and or emergency system activated. So it'll only work whenever I'm pushing it, which will probably just involve cutting some of these traces on the board and this isolating out. I'm not really quite sure what's broken on it. I'm too tired and I don't really care to fix it at this point. I just want it to work, and it's way too sensitive for me. So we can go from there. And you can actually see the individual codes of the circuit board, so you probably can look it up and figure out what does what on this board, so we can figure out what we can isolate off. These is the sensitivity settings, the LEDs that you see when you set the sensitivity, so you can probably trace it down and see where it goes from there to find out what chip it actually goes to and operates, and analyze it out. It looks like a really simple board, and the fact that they didn't really cover it up kind of tells me a lot more about it than anything. You see those three right there, that is part of the actuator board, and these two right here, three right here, is the other side of the actuator that actuate it. I would like to find out what that part number is on that, so I can get my own for future projects, which there is not seen to be a part number on it, so we'll have to look it up. And it looks like you could actually thread that off and have it elsewhere, but it looks like it just dumps whenever you hit it, dumps out underneath. Alright, found the timing circuit. If I didn't tell you, this is the power MOSFET. It comes over to this resistor and comes over, it hits this spot right here, and over to this circuit. This is a programmable timing circuit, and this is the breakdown of the circuit. It's the recommending use of the circuit, but this is our input, and this is the one we're interested in, so we'll trace that out farther on the board here in a second. This is the programming spots of it all. This is the output coming over. That's just basically to make sure it pulls all the gas out of the brake system, so that's what that is. Alright, next thing is, since we know where the input is, we can trace that down, which is that one, which that will be my next step, is to see where that one goes. Let's see. And not all these are used. Where does that one go? This one should be gone to ground, but it goes to a resistor. It doesn't look like there's power, but it looks like it does come into one line. I'm hoping I don't have just a out-of-date instruction on it, but we will go from there. Alright, I got the basic operation of it kind of figured out. My notes here. It doesn't retract automatically whenever you release it. Well, it does, but it doesn't. It's not as simple as it just swapping a relay back and forth, because what I thought it would do is, you let it off, you have a double pole relay. Whenever you let off the relay or change it, release it and pull it back. But it doesn't. There's a timer circuit in there. So what happens is when you engage it and it clicks, make sure I'm saying this right. This one up here gets positive here and negative here, which will pull the relay that way, which will extend the cylinder out and engage it into the brake pedal. And whenever you pull it, go back to neutral, say, this goes to no power whatsoever on it. This goes to float. And this one gets power on, let's see, make sure. Retract is power on this side and negative here. And that runs for a certain amount of time, and then it goes to float. So there's a timing circuit, which is probably this area right here, which is timing it. I'm pretty sure this is the sensor, the force sensor right there, because these are tied to the sensitivity of these lights over here. So these are all different signals it probably sends back to this to tell it how sensitive that it wants it to click based on it. I haven't analyzed these fully, just knowing by the lights or what tells it's how sensitive it is, and the lights go to these chips here, which is the sensitivity, and this is the force. This one right here is a 5-volt supply. Let's see if I can do this without getting shocked. I do have power on it. This one right here is a 5-volt supply. It's for running these chips right here. All these run off of 5 volts here. So this is probably our forward and our reverse timing circuit. So what we're probably going to be looking for is a trigger that comes to these chips right here that tells when it engages or disengages. And this one's running 12 volts, and those are both your emergency brake things, which that kind of runs over here. We're going to analyze this further. This is a power MOSFET. Both these are power MOSFETs. This is what actually actuates the I think what actually actuates the solenoids here, the air solenoids here. So there are lots of check relays and everything else, and flyback relays and shorts. So we're going to go deeper into there. Alright, got a little headway now. When we activate this button, which is the override, we get 5 volts. Let's see if I can find my probe here. On this one and on this one. This one doesn't look to cut. We do get 5 volts there, and we get 4.33 volts right here. So I need to find out what that chip does. And that one is a A. That is one I have not analyzed yet. I need to find out what that one is. And I need to trace this bottom right one, figure out where it goes. As soon as I figure out where my plug-in is. That one right there, I need to figure out where it goes. Well, it comes across to here, but we'll find out. Got halfway through testing it out. I have a power on it right now. This is the adjustment screw to adjust how sensitive it is based on the lights. And if I go all the way out or counterclockwise and adjust it all the way out where it doesn't activate whenever I move it in any way, shape, or form. So that will take the circuit without doing any desoldering and no more troubleshooting on it, since we've gone through most of it, but that's still the sensing chip. But this still activates it, timer still works, and I think we can use this for our actual brake mechanism. We can have the breakaway tied in there, and we can also have the control brake tied into there, the trailer brake tied into this one, so we just only have it operate whenever we're hitting the brake. Now there are newer ones you can buy that do it by the brake line, but since we have the trailer light and I did wire it in there in case this didn't work, that's what we're going to do. So if you want to make it more sensitive, this you go in, you go all the way in, like several ways in until it clicks. That's when you know there's a click, and then see how sensitive that is. Very sensitive. But if I unscrew it all the way, since that's the adjustment knob, it goes away. No more sensitivity, and we can just neglect the whole other thing and just bypass it altogether. And that's what we're going to do. And then that still works, and then I just have to wire in the trailer brake to this, and we use this as a brake. We still get to keep the brake buddy in there and the emergency breakaway feature, which is the main reason, and we can get brake assist by adjusting the timer on the brake controller, and that should get us. I'm going to check it, make sure everything will engage if I hit power up to this lead here, which it should. And if that works, we know that we can just use the breakaway tie-ins as a controller for the brake itself. And that way we have bypass control and a little more activity control, and we don't have to worry about it braking on us. So that works great. I'm going to unscrew this a little bit farther. But yeah, that's basically that. This took away the whole self-sensing thing, which might have been the problem in the first place with it. It might have just been going off at random. So we'll see. We'll see if this fixes it. If not, we got it traced down to this thing for the activator, this op-amp circuit, which takes in, this goes to the timer circuit on the disconnect, and this is the power and ground, the connections that it pulls, and we got it traced down to somewhere over in here, which is the power. So it defaults to off for 10 seconds and then disconnects. And it should be easy enough to trace this one down if we wanted to in the future, but right now it's going all the way over here to a circuit over here. But I'm going to hope, I still kind of want to completely disconnect it in case it's engaging somewhat, but that'll take the sensitivity out, so I don't know. I might just go ahead and see if there's somewhere to disconnect it altogether, but we'll go from there.